Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dads, listening to Tomcats, talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. Get some weed and now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. All right, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cinema Surprise, presented by the Penny Bloom Podcast. Today, we continue with my penultimate pick of Season 1. This is movie number 10 in a season of 12. It is Singin' in the Rain. It was released on April 10th, 1952, written by Betty Comden and Adolph Green, and directed by Stanley Donen and Gene Kelly. I am Colton Robertson. I am joined by Joseph George. What's up, homie?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And I am so happy. What a glorious feeling. To be able to talk about this movie. I watched it for the first official time a couple years ago, and it's been one I steadily come back to about once a year. Never fails to put a smile on my face. Absolutely makes me so fucking happy. And it's one of those key comfort movies that, like, and it's weird because usually comfort movies I spam. I want to, anytime I'm feeling like shit or anytime I'm sick or anytime, I go ahead and throw on a comfort movie. This is a weird type of comfort movie where, like I said, it's only about once a year. You know, it's usually when I'm sick, too. It's not like I'm feeling down in the dumps. It's legit. I am ill. Okay. And I need something to lift my spirits. And about once a year I'll go, you know what? Today's my Singin' in the Rain day. And I'm glad I got to experience it outside of, feeling like shit, for the first time in a couple of years, so, I absolutely adored it. Was this a first watch for you?
I'm trying to, yes, for real. This might have been the movie we watched in 8th grade choir. But I'm pretty sure,
school movies are also like,
yeah.
How much are you paying attention?
That was in 8th
especially
grade.
When you were in 8th grade and the movie's, 70 years old or 60 years
and
old.
I used to be, like, if a movie was old, I didn't like it needed to be new. And when I was in 8th grade, that was, like, taken to a heightened degree. So, like, I definitely didn't care about this movie. But, a first real viewing. And I see the comfort value in just crazy how I've never seen this, but how I've seen this. Without having to see it, like just how iconic some of the numbers are. Like I remember when Good Morning started, I was like, oh my God, that's this movie. I'm like,
oh, you didn't know that was this movie?
That's Singin' in the Rain. And then it goes right
what
into...
What a lovely morning.
Like, I was like, oh my God. And then it literally goes like right into Singin' in the Rain, pretty much. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, wow, this, like, that's when kind of the movie was... I felt like it was firing on all cylinders there.
Yeah.
But man, no, this was... Every number before, like, I felt like it was the slow burn, like the slow, like they're gonna slowly show you a little bit more what they can do, or I don't know, just like the violin kind of green, outfit. It was Don and Cosmos kind of, they're making it, and he's telling his big story to the crowd, so it's going through the whole montage and everything, and I don't know, I loved how kind of clear Babylon was like, all right, we're gonna try to make Singin' in the Rain, but today, and way longer, and we're gonna throw way more in there, but we're gonna take the story of it and just try to make it a movie. The inspiration was awesome. It was really, really cool to see how they took certain things. Some things were twisted, some things were yoinked straight from, and I thought, I don't know, it was really cool. Another
I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Dude.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, pretty. I guess whenever you're talking about the topic of transitioning from silent film to talkies, it's gonna. I mean, this is the conversation. It is the actors that didn't talk before that now have to and stuff. And I love that even his I love you isn't like he just asked the director like, hey, can I just go back to my normal like default shit, please? And then he's like, sure, I don't even give a fuck. And
as long as you say it into the fucking mic.
I guess another scene that was pretty directly ripped there, which was pretty good. But no one died. So
yeah, they obviously take it to a different extreme in Babylon compared to Singin' in the Rain. I think they obviously make it a little darker, a little bit more
what is the
heavy?
Oh, what is the and rolling and or what does he say? There's two phrases.
Sound,
I feel like
rolling, action.
Oh man, but I feel like this one it's more of like a I don't know, like a timely. It sounds like an old timey phrase. Run it? No, not run. Like roll. Maybe roll it. Roll it might be one of them. I feel like he says two things. Like oh man, that's gonna bug the crap out of me. But yeah, because it's probably I don't know what He's just the director of. Yeah,
the director. He's an annoying piece of shit throughout the movie too. One of the most over the top actors in this entire movie, which is very funny. The gentleman who plays the director, he's also the guy I believe who directs the sequence where Don becomes a stuntman at the beginning.
Yeah, that was sick.
And he's like, geez, we're never gonna get this. They're never gonna send over somebody in time. No, like that whole thing. I appreciate that there is when it came to the flashback sequence, tonally, the movie is kind of formatted the way the Dueling Cavalier ends up being formatted, which is kind of funny. They show the rise and they do the whole little explanation at the beginning of how they got there and I want to sing, etc. They do that and then they show
when was the transition from talkies to or like when what like year what like is it around
1927.
Oh, okay.
It was about 25 years earlier.
Gonna say, I was like, are they trying to say that this is how this movie was made?
No,
sort of thing, and this is a very.
They were accurate to the time. This movie was set in 1927. Okay. It revolves around the jazz singer coming out and being like, "Oh, it's never going to take off. That's a terrible idea. What the fuck are we talking about? Talking pictures. This is a terrible..." Cosmo being like, and that's what they said about the horseless carriage. I love Cosmo. Cosmo's an easy character pick today.
Dude, come on. Yeah, he's the guy. He's the dude. He doesn't have any real story to him. There's no grand arc that he really goes on. He's just there. And he's just there. And he's there to provide whatever. If it's a laugh, if it's a dance, if it's to become
a third,
the screenwriter, to become the just the title. They need a new title. He's just a homie. I don't know. Cosmo's really sick. So yeah, I
feel like Don and Cosmo saw Kathy from across the bar and were like, "Hey, how you doing? You want to come on over this way? I got a little bit of a challengers thing going on here between Don and Cosmo.
Oh, dude,
went to school together, and they're they're
crazy. The inspiration runs wild, actually. To pull, I feel like I said that there was an original Challengers thruple earlier, or I don't know. I forgot who it was.
Yeah, it was in a different thing. But
is this more original than whatever we were talking about?
Yes,
probably.
Definitely older. Definitely older.
Probably wasn't in Joan of Arc. I'm assuming that's the only thing.
No. I'm like, I can't remember what we were talking about, but yeah, it's
Here we go.
And obviously, it's not as explicit here. You know, you can't. It's 1952. They're making a family picture.
The little kiss she gives him, a little peck, you know. And when he falls over the couch, you know, could have been a little smooch on the cheek. No.
And right before that too, right before Don and Kathy kiss, Don and Cosmo shake hands, and if the mic is one of their faces and I'm Don, if this is Cosmo and I'm Don, they're like this.
That is true.
And I was like, oh,
this is
you know, no, but and I think there's it's musical theater, man. There's a queer subtext historically in a lot of musical theater stuff. It's just kind of comes with a lot of the genre, and one of the funny things too is that this is pure coincidence. There's no way this was an influence on Challengers, because that'd be fucking ridiculous. The actor who plays Cosmo is Donald O'Connor. O'Connor, the same last name as Josh O'Connor, and Donald is Donaldson in the movie, Art Donaldson.
Hold on a minute.
Funny. Yeah.
Hold on a minute. I mean, you know, they couldn't say this in 1950. You know, in the 50s, they couldn't say this. The movie would have been, you know, trashed and not even watched. It would have been seen as like, you know, I don't know, devil shit. So I think, I don't know, maybe that is a slight.
No, I think there's a read to be had here. You know, I think that
instead of art school, it's just tennis school. I don't know what tennis school just sounds wrong.
Tennis academy.
Yeah, that's what it was. Okay. Yeah, I was like, it just sounded weird, but I could see it. No actual relation between the O'Connors, right? Like,
I don't believe so. I don't think so. I'm
cool.
pretty.
If
that would be
that
cool.
Is
but no, I don't believe so. I believe that just pure coinkadink there in O'Connors, but. Yeah, no, I absolutely love Cosmo in this movie. He's extremely funny. He's extremely charming, extremely talented. His make 'em laugh sequence is kind of a lost art now. It's one of those things that probably had theaters in uproarious laughter in 1952 that, you know, just kind of doesn't even really make you giggle now. It's just kind of like, this is... Oh, Cosmo. You know, like, and it's just one of those things that, like, it's a really good indication of how much comedy evolves over time. Because, like, I don't know a single motherfucker who would find Make 'em Laugh funny. You know what I'm saying?
It was more of like I was just so happy. I don't know. It just made me so happy.
No, and it's
it was
enjoyable.
Like a giggle. You know, it was more of like giggle, not that like it was a joke
and
that
that's
had to
the
have
thing.
a punchline.
Same for me. Like, and that's why I'm like, I think that like this sort of physical comedy and this slapstick is a lost art. It found itself a lot more in silent film, which is what they're paying homage to very heavily in this movie. And I think that what makes me happy about it, what makes me end up giggling, is the idea that it is lost, that it is something that has slipped through the cracks and is no longer. So, like, there's a different context that makes it funny now versus what made it funny then, and I think that's a really interesting idea about the way just joking evolves, you know?
Yeah. Or how even while making the movie, that the early screening that, you know, was laughed at, and they literally had the trench coat, you know, Don sported that. Like, I don't know, the Babylon inspo was pretty awesome, but whenever they are all laughing there, you know, while they're making that movie, they're thinking like, well, we're doing our normal thing, we're making our movie. This isn't a comedy, you know, but they get in there and just adding the sound.
Oh,
yeah, you
shouldn't have come.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I mean, that was pretty good. That's still fun. I mean, that's funny.
No, there's a lot of stuff in this movie that's straight up funny. Make 'em Laugh was just the example in my head of a comedy that is kind of a lost form.
Yeah.
And obviously slapstick has never gone away. Like, slapstick and physical comedy is the first comedy everybody learns, which is why I think everybody's kind of immune to slapstick and physical comedy. Because when you're a kid,
when you're a baby,
what makes you laugh is is stuff being physical. It's people going making funny faces and
True.
that whole thing. That was really cool.
I mean, the facial control.
And that's the thing, is it all required so much talent. Like, it's not like it was something easy. It was all impressively done. The way he was flipping himself around and landing on the ground and, flipping off the walls and then flying through a wall. Like, that's really cool shit.
God, I want to be able to backflip up a wall so bad. That's
right.
That's been on my bucket list for so long, and he just does it twice, and then I'm like,
I feel like
he's about to
it's
triple dunk.
A lot of it's about commitment,
That's true. You could probably do it, but
you can if you have the ability to sprint, you can probably backflip off a wall.
Yeah, he got pretty high up there, and I mean, these walls, I don't think they're straight up. They are angled a little bit, so
the illusion is it's helping.
He can do it a little bit, but
the first step is an angle, I think, and then the second one's straight up, so he can vault off. But still, even
wall.
So, that's still cool shit. And I'm too afraid to. I'm afraid to break my fucking neck.
But it's probably possible. You just got to commit.
Possible.
You just
gotta fucking
commit.
go.
It is kind of like a backflip on a trampoline. Like, front flips are harder, but a backflip is more natural. It is easier, but it's scarier. So you don't want a backflip. It's like, I don't know. It is scarier. But yeah, Cosmo was. I mean, yeah, I couldn't really go with anyone other than Cosmo for my character too. The dude was. I mean, I loved his style. Like,
Bro,
man, can we bring these vests? No jacket, just the long sleeve vest and pants suits. I fucking love it. And like, sometimes how like it seemed that their pants were like connected with their vest almost. And it was like I don't know. That was really, really cool. Maybe it was just that well tailored to them. That it looked like that. But I love this style. And Cosmo, I don't know. His hair, everything about Cosmo. I dug his character. So yeah, I don't know. He was definitely the favorite off the first watch for me. So kind of, I don't know. I do like sharing or spreading the love, but
he was kind of a no-brainer, man. He's just the most fun and exciting, and I mean, he is extremely funny. Like the one-liners he's delivering at the beginning of the movie. Whenever Gene Kelly gets mobbed by fans, and he's like, "Cosmo, call me a cab," and he's like, "Okay, you're a cab." That shit's really funny. I love stuff like that, and that's obviously just a really on-the-nose dad joke, but it's good. He's like, where does she get off talking to me like that? Well, she's irresistible. She told me herself. Like shit like that. I absolutely love. I love how quippy and witty he is. Cosmo, remind me to give you a raise. RF, sir, give me a raise. I loved that.
He's always so jokingly and always so whatever, everything else. But then the concept of money came up, and he was like, you know what? Actually, no, I do. I need some recognition here. He was like, I love how, like, at the beginning too, he gets out of the car and the crowd is like, oh, and he's like, oh damn, oh damn, whatever, and he just goes stands next to the microphone, and he almost gets to talk, and he doesn't even get to talk to and then
dignity,
but
always dignity,
yeah,
and
I mean, a pretty, like, I thought that the relation, like Lena. Yeah, I don't know why I was going Lancy for a second there. Lancey Lou was the other one that came up, and yeah, but Lena and Dawn, I thought their relationship was actually legit at the beginning for how, I don't know, just how he was talking it up, and then it got to the movie set, and then her just sitting in the chair, and then like not giving him a single thought, and then being like, oh hey, you're gonna be an actor.
Lena, you busy tonight?
Yeah, then,
actually, no. Well, I am. Like that whole thing.
Man, I love just the voice. Like Don, just every line that he, I don't know. It's kind of it's a shitty line for him to say, of being like, "There's never been anything between us. There's nothing but air." I don't know, but it's just so like it's he doesn't go that classic with it. I don't know, but it's just he has this air.
No, that's and it's Gene Kelly, man.
Oh,
Gene Kelly's fucking awesome.
God.
He's absolutely magnetic. There's something so charming and smooth and You know, like he's got swagger in abundance in a way that like a lot of modern movie stars and I mean very few people since him have had. It's a very particular type of game he has, and I think that what he manages to do with it is really incredible. I adore Gene Kelly movies like from these 50s MGM musicals, from An American in Paris and The Pirate and Brigadoon and all of these. They're vastly different musicals, but they always have Gene Kelly at the heart of them, and it always makes them really, really good. It makes them hit hard. He's a great singer. He's got a fantastic voice, but obviously what he does is dance. Jesus Christ, can the man fucking move? 'Cause even when he's dancing next to Cosmo, who is an incredible dancer, you cannot look away from Gene Kelly. Like, Gene Kelly is who is commanding your attention. It's really impressive because you realize there's a difference between someone who is a really, really good dancer and someone who is a great dancer when you see something like that.
Yeah. It's like the minor leagues versus the pros. It's like the minor leagues versus an average person, you're still like God tier to an average person, like a minor league player. But even
fucking like LeBron James versus Dion Waiters, professional, still both majors. Like there's like the best of the best versus someone who is professional, but like just a professional.
Wanted to ask. I got a weird hint of Jim Carrey mask, inspiration with like the way Gene Kelly kind of smiles and like the way, I don't know, like facial structure. I feel like Jim Carrey took facial inspiration somehow out of this movie from both Gene Kelly and Donald O'Connor. I feel like the whenever Cosmo was doing his fun, make him laugh and doing his whole face thing, that paired with, I don't know, there was like, it wasn't throughout the whole movie. There was just like kind of for 1 minute or like 1 or 2 minutes that like Gene Kelly was just holding a smile for something, and it just kind of was. Oh, and he was kind of wearing maybe that's when it was. It was whenever he was on stage and all of the Broadway lights I think were around him, and he was kind of wearing the mask outfit almost.
Right. I think that what you're picking up from that is, Jim Carrey. We talked about the slapstick and physical comedy. Probably the last great at physical comedy. Physical comedy hasn't gone away. It's still very well done, and a lot of people are really good at it. But Jim Carrey's kind of the last goat. He's the last one who everyone was like, well, this guy is fucking incredible, And I think that there's an idea that since they are also emulating the silent film era in this time, and they are trying to bring that to the screen, and musicals also have the expressiveness, typically stage musicals have that expressiveness that silent film used to bring, and I think that's what's cool about the MGM musicals is that they feel like stage productions. They are filming it and they are movies, but they do feel like you're watching a Broadway show or something like that. And I think that is, more than anything, what you're picking up is Jim Carrey's influence from the silent film era and that expressiveness and that sort of just that presence. And I think that Gene Kelly really emulates it well, and Jim Carrey takes it to a different level because The Mask is a very particular and very good example, though. Like if you made the face that Jim Carrey has when he's actually in the mask form and you just gave him like a normal skin tone, he'd look a lot like Gene Kelly, which is interesting.
That would be because his face is green. We could just has anyone done that? Or I guess I don't know. Just given the mask
white face.
What he would look like normally.
Yeah. No, and even so, it's obviously pretty extreme. It's exaggerated. Yeah. There's a lot of, but Gene Kelly is a gorgeous fucking dude too. There's a part whenever they're rehearsing the new musical parts of Dancing Cavalier. I think it's after Singin' in the Rain, and Kathy's singing, Cosmo's playing the piano, and they just, they sit on Don watching Kathy for a second, and he's absolutely fucking gorgeous, like an insanely good-looking man in that moment. And there's also one moment, we've talked about this a lot with, Katie O'Brien a few weeks back, and then connecting that to, Ingrid Bergman in Casablanca and Kate Winslet in Titanic. There is literally a single moment where I feel they shot Debbie Reynolds that way. And it is during the time the song number is about to break out on the movie set for them. It's just Dawn and Kathy, and she's got like the lights right behind her, and she's kind of glowing, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And she looks absolutely ravishing. So like and it's one of those things where like it stood out. I was like, there's the shot, like that is the shot that makes people a star, like that's what that is. And this movie is fucking gorgeous to look at, dude.
Yeah, the double tear roll down as well from her was very, very nice. And I mean, just it kind I wouldn't say like Casablanca in the way that it. I mean, almost every shot I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I was almost floored. But this is it's still very, very pleasing to the eye. But it is more stagecraft. Like it is more they're not going for we want to make a real a real building and put real decoration. I don't know. There was this air of stagecraft to it, and like whenever they're in the car, just driving and in the background behind them and that sort of thing, and you don't care. Like it's like it works for this movie because they're constantly on movie sets and they're going back and forth, and I love like that's what one part of that made Babylon really cool is that it was kind of this fourth wall breaky meta. We're making a movie while we're watching a movie. They obviously had to make that movie too, and all this sort of thing, and so you're kind of thinking about of that during the movie, and then also you just have a really good heart, like emotional story unfolding in front of you. The movie's just good as well. Like so, it's every single layer. Like it's just really, really cool to think of the history of this moment. This switch is really, really crazy to think about, and to think of the actors that had to go through it, and to I don't know who was it that I think it was Kathy at the beginning that made fun of actors that were like, you guys you do a bunch of just fake whatever movements, you don't even talk, it's whatever, I'm flesh and blood, and
yeah, she says you're nothing but a shadow on film, not flesh and blood, which was a contender for my favorite line of the movie because it's a really cool foreshadowing as to what she becomes as a shadow of the film for Lena and being the voice, and like she doesn't get to do the performing, but she gets to be there. She is a shadow on film, and I think that it's a gorgeous fucking movie, man. And I think that portraying this switch is obviously a very fruitful period. And I would like to watch more actors who made this switch, like actually, in real life. I think that would be a cool thing to see. I love the way they portrayed the making of silent film as well, when him and Lena are doing their silent film scene and it's all blocking and it's all face and it's all like they are saying whatever they want to each other, but they're doing the whole
you snake, you reptile, they're actually not saying,
and they have a great chemistry all the while too, and Lena even comments on it. She's like, how could you possibly not feel something real when we do that, and
oh man,
he's like, I'm a great actor, honey, get the fuck over
professional.
it,
I mean how that is nuts. Also, like to be that professional to do that, but then like the director and the people behind the camera, like hearing this conversation too, and they're like, hey, looks good. No, like keep it going. It's looking really great. You look like you love each other. but they are.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're
at each other's throats.
Yeah, I don't know. It is really. I wonder, like, because in Star Wars, like in suit Darth Vader, apparently says a lot of funny things, or not the line that Darth Vader actually says, and because it's just voiced over. And I wonder how often, like in silent films, just they're saying the exact opposite of like what I don't know, or they're just saying something stupid, completely. But sometimes the mouth, they do mouth.
The mouth does line up,
word,
like
or something. So it's clear that they actually are saying some things, but other times it is just blabbering,
Well, and a lot of times, they'll have an outline. We saw this in Babylon as well. They have an outline of what the script is supposed to say, and then they'll be watching the film, and then someone will be like, "Okay, make her say this here." Like you don't have to. You don't have to have it written, essentially. You can just kind of block them and make them move around and tell them what the scene is and be like, okay, go for it. And then afterwards, they're like, here's what she's saying at the time,
wow, that's kind of crazy. Like that you can kind of write the dialogue after the movie's been made. And like you just have to write the story, the bare bones of like what has to happen.
There's probably a really great advantage to that.
That's what I was kind of getting at. Is like I bet that's why movies were just kind of, well, I don't know. I don't think every movie back then was just goated and great, but I mean there's a lot of steps along the way that just it has to be good. Like whenever they're filming, it only has to look good. That's all that matters, and they have to, but everything has to be thought of before because it has to be caught on film, on camera. Everything has to be right there. And, man, yeah, I always kind of get there. In Babylon, I always return to this conversation as well. It's like, man, I wish we could go back to this era, of making movies where everything had to be thought of on this minute detail, and we couldn't just be like, all right, well, we'll fix it in post, if it is bad. And cause I don't know, it shit in, it shit out. Like you can only whatever you have, the bare bones of what you got. It can only be that good. I don't the post can't really make it much better. I think it can increase the value of it. That's for sure. But I don't know. I love watching these old movies. Like it's been so nice. And after watching this one, it got me to even think of like, man, do I want to switch my movie up last minute and go with like an older one.
Really?
I didn't, but I almost did. It actually almost got me to do it. But yeah, I don't know. Jonah Ark, and then Singing in the Rain. We got
some oldies in there. We got Casablanca earlier on. We got some good oldies.
So that was my I don't know, but it almost got me to. Like I love this era. It's awesome. I can finally appreciate it as well, and that's a big factor of it. Is that I'm finally the movie watcher that can watch these movies and not just be like, yeah, well, I can recognize that it's critically made well. I'm actually enjoying the movie too, which is pretty huge. So, this been a nice. I didn't think I'd be checking off this many on the Babylon checklist so fast. I mean, it is only 3 movies so far, but I expected this to be a very long, drawn-out thing. But this is
off to a hot start.
Yeah. I only have Tron, the OG Tron, Singing in the Rain, and Passion of Joan of Arc.
Do you intend on rewatching the ones you have watched? Because you could cross off Jurassic Park and Avatar and The Matrix. And
there are a lot that I have. I probably won't add them in the list until I've rewatched them. Yeah,
I gotcha. That's cool. That's cool.
That
it's a big
feels
project
right.
for you.
Yeah,
I like that.
It feels kind of right. But yeah, it's number 2. It's only below Tron. It's gonna be hard to beat Tron, the OG Tron for me. But I did put it above Babylon and Passion of Joan of Arc for me. I was having a good time with.
Where did it fall in your personal ranking? I know that you like to rank these things. So where did it fall here in the Cinema Surprise so far?
It is. Let's see. I put it still above. Yeah, right above. Babylon, but right below Casablanca for me. So, Casablanca is 5 for me, so that is kind of low for Casablanca, but it's at 6 right now, Singing in the Rain. I do have Arrival, Cure, Tron at 1, 2. Well, I think you have Cure actually up there pretty high, but I do have Arrival and Tron pretty high up. La Chimera, Casablanca, are above Singing in the Rain, but
Yeah.
it's
I think I'd put it at 3 behind Casablanca and Cure. But
so you have Casablanca, then Cure, and then
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
that make I mean, and that I feel kind of wrong for this list as well, because like it feels so wrong to have any movie above Casablanca, but then
Right.
I know like this is just my favorites like this is my pure favorites list on Letterboxd, and not necessarily like critical value, because if we're going critical value, it's clear clear as day that my list isn't in order, but yeah, this I mean it was crazy iconic, the inspiration of like just in a lot of movies, whether it's not direct or not, it's at least it's in the air.
It's deeply influential on a lot of movies, some directly, some not directly. I mean, like, it is just that iconic that it bleeds through. I mean, I rewatched La La Land a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, the Singin' in the Rain take reminds me a lot of What a Waste of a Lovely Night, the way that's shot. There's something very similar going on there in the camera movements, the way that the camera lifts and goes wide and shows them rounding the corner and stuff. It reminded me of them doing their little dance there. And I mean, one of the more obvious ones that is stated as an influence is the I'm Just Ken number.
Really?
Is directly influenced by the last montage where they're in the pink and blue. He's in all black, and they're doing the dance with each other. Like, that is, like, Greta Gerwig was like,
that
is
didn't
what
think
that
of
is.
that until oh my god, wow, yeah, that didn't even hit me. That's awesome though, and the title kind of didn't even hit me, of like the concept of singing in the rain, and seeing that on a movie. For one, like, to hear audio while it's raining, like, you can't have a microphone anywhere, and you're hearing the audio, and like, I wonder, like, how long it took movies to be like, oh, we can, like, voiceover, lip sync, like, I wonder how long, like, if that was an instant, like, yeah, we can just do that, and that they were doing it from the jump, or if it was kind of like, man, we're having all these problems of we have to hide these microphones everywhere, and like all these technical problems are getting in the way. And then, I don't know, that I love, that was one of my favorite scenes, is when that idea hit them. Like, whenever it's 1 a.m. or whatever, or I guess they're talking through the whole night is the idea, that
we talked the whole night through. Good morning, and good morning to you. Yeah,
and I don't know, that conversation there of them just realizing, like, oh yeah, like, oh my god, why don't we just do this? Let's make it a musical, and then they're like, oh, and then
we can't make it a musical. Lena, she can't act, she can't sing, she can't dance. A triple threat. Oh
damn, poor Lena. I mean, yeah, I. Gotta feel sorry for her. I don't know.
Who are you going for with your performance here?
I mean, it's either Gene Kelly or Debbie Reynolds for me. I mean, it's one of the two that I liked, and it's probably just Gene Kelly for the amount. I mean, the dancing, the singing, the actual acting too. I mean,
he's magnetic. Yeah.
The action as well. The stunts that is it all him that's doing these stunts too? Okay,
there's actually a really, really clean bait and switch that I really love. Whenever he goes flying over the bar, it's a different guy who goes flying over the bar, and Gene Kelly's already back there, and he pops up.
Wow. Okay, so that's not even him flying over the bar either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, like, whenever he's running on top of the little tram or whatever, and then jumps into Kathy's car, like I don't know. It just randomly there was like, ooh, spurt of action here. For whatever.
Yeah. No, and he's an incredible physical performer. The dude is absolutely wonderful, and if I'm being true to my heart of hearts, he is the movie. I mean, without Gene Kelly, he also directed the movie, so there's really not as much movie here.
Yeah, this damn dude is.
But what I did want to shine some light on is Jean Hagen as Lena Lamont. I've watched her in other things.
Oh.
She is performing here.
She doesn't actually sound like that.
She does not sound like that. And I think she is utterly fucking brilliant as Lena Lamont. She is so fucking good. I think that she's the underrated part of this movie because she is the least likable character. You know, like you just kind of go, she's annoying as shit. Like her voice is like nails on a fucking chalkboard. No, she does not sound like that.
Huh.
And she is really, really, really good. I love whenever she tries to turn the tables at the end of the movie and she walks into RF's offices and like,
Actually, legally, I don't think it's in subparagraph 34, page 5.
you know, like that whole thing. I love the air she's possessing there, and then I love the resolution of this movie. The ending of this movie makes me so happy, and they're like, speech. And she's like,
You know what? Everybody's always spoke for me.
and they're like, they haven't they? Go ahead, go. And yeah, it's just I absolutely
sound like
love that
in the movie. Like,
yeah,
what's going on here? Yeah, and that I guess I didn't think about that. That she is an actor. And she's putting on a voice here. And she's
really good at it, man. Like she possesses that air.
I can't stand them.
Cunt.
Yeah.
And she gets one cunt in there. I feel like at the end, which was pretty good.
Her vocal coach.
Can't stand them.
Can't
stand them.
Oh man. Okay. I didn't. You know what? I now that I'm out of the movie and I don't actually hate her, or I don't. Yeah. There's not actually like hatred towards her. Or anything. It's just yeah.
No, but
like
the character is deeply unlikable.
Yeah.
That is part of the point of the character, and it is one of those things that you can lose sight of. But I will go with Gene Kelly because Gene Kelly rocks, and I absolutely adore the way that he. I mean, it's his dancing for me. His dancing absolutely. It's sweeping. It just makes you feel like you're in another world. It's so fantastical. I absolutely adore
the legs, man. I
dude.
mean, like, he can just move his legs in ways that, I don't know. It is just fluid. The dude is fluid. He understands his body. I don't know. Like, it's a weird thing to say, but he does. And
he does.
And
yeah. No, so like that was the other, like in terms of pure acting performance, I might go Gene Hagen as Lena Lamont, but there's a lot else that
singing,
Gene Kelly has to do.
dancing.
Yeah, he has to do the singing, the dancing. I mean, he is the heart of the movie, and I think that ends up prevailing. But I was really, really impressed with Gene Hagen because I watched her in a couple other things. I love her in Adam's Rib. That's a fantastic movie from the 40s, kind of a battle of the sexes sort of idea there. That's and way ahead of its time, if you ask me.
Ooh.
And
who was I don't know who that was. It was just a random dance number. Green dress.
Dude.
Super green dress. Maybe a little tick tick boom inspiration. Didn't think of that one until just now, but that was just whoa. Like I love that they were just like, well, let's show you, we're in my head at least, 1950, anything just pre-19. And if I hear the word 19 in front of anything, I just think like prude, sex. They don't really. It's not an open thing, It's very whatever. But this was, I don't know. This was like, hey, let's show you we can be sexy at the time,
Well, and there's an interesting thing that happens. I can't remember when. It's called the Hays Code. The Hays Code was implemented, and that's when we switched to our rating system.
Oh.
Prior to that, it was either approved or not approved. And when the Hays Code came around, it kind of...
Wow.
There was never sex scenes, strictly, but there was some sexy stuff in old movies. And it's pretty interesting to see that, like, Babylon kind of talks about that part of the movie too, like whenever they switch from the silent films to the talkies, and, I think it's with, I can't remember her name, but the singer who's like, the chick who dates Margot Robbie for a while in the movie. I can't remember the character's name, but, they're like, they don't want this anymore. They want morals. They want integrity. Like there is a switch that, like, there's a constant progression and regression in society in terms of accepting sex and being prude and all this stuff. And I think that that role is played by Sid Charisse in this movie. I absolutely love her too. She's in a couple fantastic musicals. Another Gene Kelly one, Brigadoon, she's really good in, and The Bandwagon, one of my favorites ever. Both of those, I believe, are directed by Vincent Minnelli, who is a wonderful musical director. But Sid Charisse, she is a dancer, bro. She can go.
That was, and the kind of, I don't know if it was meant to be like this, or it was just cool, just showing off all the different fashion. Since it, like, just going one by one and just being like, here's some fashion at the time, or
the pajama, and it's like a full blown costume.
That's pajama. That's what you wear to bed or to get comfy there. I mean, sure, but no, that was really cool to see. Just
culminates
kind of
in a gorgeous shot too.
That's
the overhead
true.
airel shot, dude.
That could be the shot. Now that I
it's good.
I mean, there's so many to choose from here. I don't know why. The one that just kind of stood out to me was at the end of Singin' of the Rain, whenever he's just he hands the umbrella off to the one old guy, and he's just, I mean, dude is living life.
Feeling it. He is feeling it. Yeah.
So it was more of just kind of for the moment, not the shot.
Well, and it's also you've been there, you know, like the way that he's like, I love the way that Gene Kelly can physically express something that you felt, you know, like, and that's one of the things that lends him to being my favorite performer of the movie. And obviously he puts it into words with Singin' in the Rain itself, which is a great song that he performs just fucking perfectly. That's one of the most iconic scenes in all of movies, whenever he jumps up on that lamppost and he twirls around it and everything.
Come on, man. And I don't know, and that's the, in a movie theater, that would be it's crazy to hear a sound come out of the screen, but then to have rain and then hear this, I don't know, I feel like that would be kind of like it's the perfect...
the tap dancing, dude. The tap dancing all movie is fucking incredible. And then to put him, he can't tap dance in water. What's tapping is splashes.
Oh.
It's like he's splashing water, which is making the sound that he would as a tap dancer.
Those have to be added in after as well, I guess, too, right? Or is that like, or are we here? How are the? Well, I guess no. This isn't 1920. This is 1950. So, like, are they actually recording the actual sound of the rain?
I'm assuming they're also actually recording the sound of the rain as well, and probably
I guess, because in my head I'm thinking in the sense of how the movie is saying that they're making the movie, you know, sort of thing. But this isn't 1920 whatever. So they have, I'm not thinking of how they actually made the movie. That's a whole different layer. That's pretty cool. That I haven't even thought of, but man, yeah, it's kind of, it is like this. I hate to keep bringing Babylon up, but it's so cool when a movie can go beyond the movie itself, and like you can gain so much more from. I don't know. It's a historical kind of piece. It's a thing that. It's a recurring cycle of you thinking about it, like them making a movie inside of a movie, and you're watching the movie I don't know. It is this. You can't quite pin it, but while you're watching it, it adds an extra layer of coolness to it, and I love movies like that. And this one,
because what's even cooler too is that in 1952, this was 25 years ago. The switch from
I see. Yeah.
Silent films to talkies.
Kind of like a 25-year anniversary, you know.
Now we're watching a 70-year-old movie about a 100-year-old topic.
Damn.
You know, and that, like, it adds a different layer to it. And like, I think that's one of the important things that this movie kind of lends itself to is Gene Kelly even refers to himself in the movie as a museum piece. You know, like there's still value in it, and there's still beauty in it, and there's still influence and all these things, but obviously it's not appreciated on the level it once was. I mean, on a general audience scope. I'm pretty sure this was I guess I don't know what the reception was like. I'm assuming it was pretty well received in the 50s, but
now it's seen as a classic, like a certified.
now it's seen as a classic, and it's one of those like now we've gotten to a point where people don't like musicals. You know, like that was the selling point for The Dancing Cavalier. Was we'll make it a musical, then people will come and see it. You know, like now it's like, oh fuck, it's a musical, and that sucks, man. That really sucks. I absolutely adore musicals. So like,
we need
it's
the
one of those movies.
20s back. We need to just have this art renaissance. You know, just let's feel good. We need a victory. We need this world shit to resolve itself so that we can be happy and party. And then we can get. People will just love these movies again because I feel like we're just on the whole happier. Because I'm trying to justify, like, why not like a musical? You know, like, why not? I mean, I get it. You might not be in the mood for it, but to be like, never. To be like, no, I will never like a musical. It's just a concept of a movie that I hate. It's like, really? I don't know, like, why? Why at the end of the day? Or and that's what
well, I think most people just can't suspend belief enough for it. You know, like and that really sucks. It's a lack of imagination. You know, it's not a.
But you go and watch Spider-Man: No Way Home and love the shit out of that, and there's two dudes being brought in from different movies, and that's good. I don't know. That's where my switch of like, wow, I'm not going to watch Tron, but I'll watch Tron Legacy and all these superhero movies. And that's what kind of got me to be like, what the fuck was I doing? You know, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? A movie is a movie. Like, I'm going to watch anything. So that's...
and that's a realization that not everybody comes to. It definitely is. And it's only one that I came to within the last couple years, you know? Like, I guess, and we haven't really gone over this. This was one of those things that I've thought about like doing a whole episode on, but like just life-changing movies, like movies that you watched that changed the way you watched movies. The first one for me was La La Land. That is what opened me up to musicals. That's what made me go, oh, I can like musicals, you know. And then I watched a bunch of musicals, and the other one was Parasite. After I watched Parasite, I was like, oh my God, there's a whole world of film that I've never watched because that was the first foreign film I ever watched. You know what I'm saying? So like, there became like, those are the two most world opening movies I've ever watched because they're just like, you watch one really good movie and it can change the way you watch movies, you know, like, it was Parasite that made me go, oh my God, I need to watch good fucking movies, you know, like
yeah, I would almost put Babylon in the list, but not. It's almost for like just introducing me to the idea of this transition in film and getting me on the road. It was kind of the jump starter, not really the movie itself. It's still a great movie. I loved it to death. I don't want to. It was awesome, but that's an interesting. Another list that I'll have to make. Thank you for giving me another list idea that I can.
Yeah,
the
life changing. I'll have to.
That's
a
good
one
as
well. But
that's a good one. I maybe here we go. I mean, I feel like I don't know if I call it life changing quite yet, but this is. I'd feel much more comfortable putting Singing in the Rain there versus Babylon. Like for those reasons and.
Yeah. No, and I mean like it's I mean, and if you liked this movie, if you liked the aesthetic and you liked the general, like, I can't recommend highly enough Vincent Minnelli movies and other MGM 50s.
I didn't know this was like a collect, like they.
Yeah, this is obviously a standout. This is a classic.
But is it kind of like a like? I guess MGM just sets out to make a musical, and it's just like, why is.
In the 50s, we were in the heart of the studio system being like they ran shit at this time. And then the 70s came around and it was like a new era of filmmakers kind of shook that up a little bit with Jaws and Apocalypse Now and Star Wars. So Coppola, Scorsese, Spielberg, Lucas, they shook shit up. But Scorsese was still like what he always wanted to do was make big budget studio movies, which is funny, like it feels like what you want to do is but these are what inspired him in that way. That's why he made a movie called New York, New York, which is basically just a giant homage to this era. And it actually stars Liza Minnelli, who is the daughter of Vincent Minnelli, the director I've been mentioning. So there's and Robert De Niro, but there's just a grandiosity that MGM was willing to pour into their musicals at the time. This is where they put their budget. This is where because it was also at a time whenever, Westerns were the most popular thing in the action market. That was the big deal. That was what it was. Westerns and musicals. That was basically the American box office. Those were the hits. And MGM kind of, I mean, there are other good musicals from other good studios, but as far as like a track record of like, there's hit after hit here. MGM, just as a studio, was producing some pretty insane stuff, and it's because they had actors and directors like Vincent Minnelli and Gene Kelly under contract. Like, they had some of the most talented people alive in this realm, ready to go. Yeah,
it's kind of a perfect blend of like the argument that Kathy and Don have of like, Broadway versus Hollywood, but making a musical and it's bringing Broadway to Hollywood, and then having everybody see it, like and not just the richy rich who can have a ticket or whatever and see the play. I don't know, whatever. I guess Broadway, I don't know. Like, plays weren't only for the rich though. Like, I guess movies were just much cheaper.
Broadway,
like a movie ticket was just...
Yeah, I mean, and Broadway's not the only place they put on plays, So, like, plays were accessible, but, like, Broadway shows, that's always kind of been almost a status symbol to a degree. If you can go catch a Broadway show, everyone... Like, if you are regularly catching Broadway shows, you have money.
That's true.
Like, that's
true. Yeah.
But, yeah, no, and that, like, it was a similar, again, the influence it has on Babylon with, that's an argument that Brad Pitt and one of his wives has in Babylon, the stage actor versus movie actor, and, you're wrong, movies are important, movies are art form, like that whole conversation, and I think that there's, I mean, just an untapped amount of influence here on so many different things. And I know we keep going back to Babylon, but that's just because we talked about it a couple weeks ago, and it's obviously ripping so much from this movie. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it's very, very clear. Very, very clear. And it's, I don't know, imitation is kind of the best form of flattery, I guess. Or flatter. Did I say that? No, that's
yeah. You did. You did.
But yeah, it's like a whole. Babylon's not really musical. They do have sort of some, music.
They have a Fantasia-esque thing going on,
playing sort of thing instead of the musical. But no, I feel like it's, if we could somehow combine Babylon and Casablanca. Like, I'm trying to think of like the perfect comparison for this movie of the project so far. And it's, I don't know, I feel like Babylon might be it, just to compare it to that. But,
as far as the comparison, as far as they go, I would say so. Like Casablanca was a full 10 years prior to this, and it was, it's black and white. It's much more intimate. It's got a grand scope in terms of story effect and the implications of what's being done in the story, but there is a grandiosity to this movie itself, even though it is very intimate, which is interesting. Like, there is like big set pieces and big imagery, and like this had a budget, and you can tell it had a budget.
That's true.
Like it's
that one little, that when Don brings Kathy into that your shot, like whenever he sets up all the production of that, like, just it was like a weird, like, that is a real movie set, I guess, but they're setting it up to be filmed in the movie, so I'm just assuming that's just a real movie set, though. I don't know, like
probably a real film warehouse. Yeah, I'd imagine.
But it was just really cool of how just those huge lights, and how good it did make it look, that backdrop, and like
Right.
how you could go from a dark room and Kathy being like, "What? This is just a blank, an empty movie set," and then Don to be like, "Oh, but
Now it's sunset.
but wait,
Yeah.
no," and I don't know. That's probably my line as well. Is right before Singing in the Rain starts. Kathy being like, "Oh, it's the weather's so I don't know, something about the rain and how damp and down and gray it looks," and Don says, "Really? From where I'm standing, the sun is shining all over the place." And then he breaks out into Singing in the Rain, and it's just I don't know, it it feels so good. And I don't know, that's the romance is very, very nice. You say that a film can only be enhanced by a good romance, and this is
A good romance, yes.
yeah, and this
A bad romance can absolutely fumble a movie.
yeah. This one's good though. This one is
yes,
very
good, very strong,
very, very good. Just you do feel so good. It is kind of a perfect sick comfort movie. I see like Singing in the I don't know. It is like, while other shit can get you down, you can still feel good and feel I don't know, I don't know, this is gonna be a perfect, like I imagine myself having some like chicken noodle soup when I'm sick and just turning on Singing in the Rain.
It's even better when it's raining.
Oh,
when it is raining.
Oh,
that's the peak viewing experience here.
Man.
But is your favorite scene of the movie your favorite musical number, or do you have a different favorite scene?
That is kind of the selections I have in there were a lot of musical numbers. I really liked Good Morning. Just the song itself. I think Good Morning, like just the vocal, everything about it, I think is like my favorite. But man, Singing in the Rain was probably the best just overall. I'm feeling good. Like just what it makes me feel.
Yeah, and there's a classicness to it that's just like, so I'm not going with Singing in the Rain. However,
I kind of want to go with a scene though, like not a, I don't know. But I feel like that's the strength of the movie is the musical numbers almost.
Yeah,
so
no, I have no problem going with the musical number. Like that is where the emotion is expressed in the movie. So that's why like I'm going with a musical number. I like Singing in the Rain, I think is the most well done scene in the movie. I think that is that's the defining scene, one of the most iconic scenes of all movies. But I'm going with Moses Supposes. Moses supposes his toes own roses, and those it's the vocal coach, and sorry about that.
Good. Back.
I'm back. Okay, I went with one. I wanted to go with one that was Donald O'Connor and Gene Kelly because their chemistry was absurd compared to pretty much anyone else's in the movie. Like I enjoy Debbie Reynolds and Gene Kelly together. I think they have a good chemistry. But the way that Donald O'Connor and Gene Kelly could connect on a song was really, really, really strong. And them dancing side by side and having their fun and piling the stuff on top of the guy and going up to the window and wrapping themselves in the curtains and doing all, like, it was just so much fun. It put a huge smile on my face. It was the choice for me.
That's fair. I mean, I was trying to think of another one that I liked from them, and it was that green, violin kind of one. And they did some creative things, and they, jumped on each other's backs at certain points, and they did some fun stuff. But Moses Supposes like really let them go. Like do a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think I actually it's a musical number and kind of a good scene. It is the movie set. And whenever he's, what did you want to say to me? Is this the perfect setting now? Can you say it to me now? And him just, we were made for each other. What was the song called? I feel like you were. I don't know if you is there. There's probably I didn't think of the soundtrack. Duh.
Yes,
Hello.
Very strong.
But I need that. trying to think of what song that would be. Which one? Can I get a track?
You Were Meant for
Here we
Me.
go. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Number 5. Yeah, that's probably. I think I'll go with that one for my scene. I think we can probably all agree that Singing in the Rain, just it is iconic and it is very nice. Probably the one, but I really liked the movie set and You Were Meant for Me. So I think I'll go with that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that because I mean I'm right there with you. If I had to go with a scene that wasn't a musical number, there was one that I mean, like the ending's really. I love the ending. The ending's really strong. But to separate myself from that, even, it's Debbie Reynolds and Gene Kelly putting on the best chemistry they have in the whole movie, which is right before they go to the movie set. And he like finds her and they're talking in the street and he's like, "Oh, you read the fan magazines, you know?"
remember you saying you've seen
he's
one
like,
of them. And all you've seen them all.
Okay,
You've seen
so
one,
I've
you've
seen
them all.
eight.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
so I've seen 8 or 9 of them. You know, like that whole thing. I did say some awful things that night. You know, like I loved their whole
man. And that
it's
outfit
just very
too,
cute.
The like sailor kind of almost look that he had. Oh man, yeah. The costume design is
Very strong. Very strong.
Very, very nice. But yeah, no, they're slow unravel. It is a perfect romance for a movie. It felt so good. Maybe a little forced. I don't know. The dude just literally jumped in her car, and that is how they met. But hey, they were meant for each other. That was meant to happen. That it's Inyon. You know, that's it.
Inyon.
In order for that to happen, you know, he needed that escape. He was getting mobbed, you know, that those kids were tearing his suit up, trying to have a souvenir. Kathy saved his life. You know, that's what Don said. He's, "Thank you for saving my life," before he gets out of the car, which is, I don't know. So, yeah, definitely a good romance. It enhanced every part of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
And just maybe a little too. I don't know. When you think about it, literally, it's whatever. But that it's a movie romance. It doesn't. You know, we're not going to get a true love story. That's a long unraveling. You know, I don't know.
No, yeah,
I guess,
it happens quick. It happens quick, but that's fine. A lot of old movies have romances that happen just extremely cute, extremely quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a charm to it, you know. I don't think it's a detriment. There's a difference between it being forced and it being fast. Because
it feels good.
if you fall hard and you fall quick, it happens fast. That's simple shit, you know. But yeah, no. I adore this movie with all my heart. I'm so glad we got to it here on Cinema Surprise. And it felt right. It felt good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm super glad we did it. But is there anything else? Are we missing anything?
I think all the favorites have been hit, unless your line. I think maybe. I don't know if you've.
Yeah, I went with this line because it's just so funny to hear somebody make a kill yourself joke in the 50s. Like it's a chick in the crowd watching the first Lockwood and Lamont movie. I think it's called what's it called? Royal I can't remember. But it's the very first movie premiere that they're at, and it's Lena and Lockwood and Lamont, their latest film, and there's a chick in the audience watching Lena, and she goes, "She's so refined. I think I'll kill myself." You know, like, and I just me and Emily were watching it together. And we just burst out fucking laughing. So like, it killed me. It was, and like, there are obviously more moving and more poignant lines in the movie, but there was something about that was just so jarring to hear in like a 1952 family film. It's like, she's so refined. I think I'll kill myself. You know, like, it's
not expected.
There's something about those jokes that, you know, shouldn't be funny that is pretty consistently funny to me.
Oh, but they are. There's comedy can make anything funny, even the worst shit, the most controversial, taboo stuff that you don't want to talk about.
It's like the way she says it too. She's like, "She's so refined. I think I'll kill myself." Like, you know, like she's like, "I have no point of living anymore when this exists." You know, and I just thought it was so funny. I thought it was hysterical. So, Yeah, I loved that line by a rando person in the crowd. Don't think she pops back up. There was also a great line read at the beginning of the movie whenever I love the introduction to everybody on the red carpet and everybody coming out. And one of them is like Zelda, whatever the fuck, the one who shows Lena that they're ADRing her voice after the fact and everything. And they're like, Zelda, blank. And there's a dude who, they zoom in on his face and he goes, Zelda, oh, Zelda. And it's just such a funny way to kick off the movie. I absolutely loved that. So, yeah, a lot of really funny beats in this movie. And I liked a lot of them. So,
Man.
Yeah, I think she's so refined. I think I'll kill myself is my line.
Perfect. No better way to end it. To wrap it up. To wrap up our thoughts on it. But no, movie had everything. Made you cry, made you laugh, made you want to get up on your feet and dance. And also just a nice to sit back and watch for the eyes. Was very pleasing. So yeah, all around, we're firing on all cylinders here. This is I don't know, the Criterion thing, like on I don't know, like is it a Max thing only, or is it a Criterion thing to like talk before the movie? I don't know, like did you watch it on Max or do you have a physical of this?
I watched it on Max. Yeah.
Did you? Was there like a little intro of them? I don't know if it was Criterion actually, but it was just kind of like a. And up next, Singin' in the Rain, it was a guy, I don't know who the dude was, but he was just talking about it and talking about like the history of the movie. It was like a 2.5-minute thing before the movie, and then they did it like after the movie too.
I didn't get that at all.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. I feel like it did it for Joan of Arc as well on Max. And I think it was
I watched
thing.
Joan of Arc on the Criterion channel, so it was maybe there's something different there, but yeah, no, didn't get a little, and I mean, like, there's something with the older movies that have like historical significance that they
give you a little preamble for.
Yeah,
like, hey,
like, yo,
here's what you're
rips.
about to watch.
Yeah,
by the way,
this is historically significant.
Yeah. But yeah, it was. I don't know. Really, I wonder what number this is on the Criterion. The collection.
I don't think this is in the Criterion
it's
collection.
Not? Okay, so
No.
maybe I am remembering something weird or different at the beginning. I don't know who it was. Some white dude talking about the movie. Felt like he was cinema related. He seemed like it at least. But
yeah, astonishing that this isn't in the Criterion collection, but it's not.
It's already iconic enough, I guess.
One of those movies they don't have to worry about preserving. It feels like it'll be permanently preserved anyway. But yeah, no, it's extremely strong movie, and I absolutely adore it, and I can't wait to watch it again eventually. But then with that, I will do the plugs, and after the plugs, we will rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10, enjoyment and critical. Joe will announce next week's cinema surprise, and we will do album of the week. So, very excited for that. Stick around for the next few seconds, and you will hear, skip ahead if you don't want to hear the fucking plugs. I don't care, but stick around. We're going to do some stuff after. Head to twitter.com. Follow at PennyBloomPod. If you want any news, anything at all, that is where you're going to find it. Cinema Surprise is still being funneled through Penny Bloom on all channels, essentially. YouTube, our Patreon is still connected, patreon.com/PennyBloomPod. Been less active on TikTok, but TikTok is still Penny Bloom Podcast. But Twitter, that is the important place to be. Any news, because there will be a Cinema Surprise Season 2. We will have some surprises in the meantime. I'm very excited for those. And that's just the place to be. So you got to stick around with us. You want any news on the Cinementalists or on the Fulcrum Star Wars podcast, that's Penny Bloom Pod. That is where you're going to find them. But Yeah, patreon.com/PennyBloomPod. You can find over 50 hours of exclusive content, all sorts of book reviews, comic book reviews, movie reviews, and early access content, along with the Penny Bloom Dispatch. That's a little bit more of a timely, segment-based, news-esque show that we do on Patreon for free. You can have that. It's Patreon exclusive, but it is free to anybody. And then for any content beyond that, it is $1.50 a month, which is huge because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review and download wherever you might be listening. And you can now watch on YouTube. That is still under Penny Bloom Podcast. Going forward, we might see about Cinema Surprise being its own thing eventually, but not for Season 1. Season 1's still going to be on Penny Bloom Podcast, so check that out there. But yeah, let's rate this thing. How are we feeling on a scale of 1 to 10?
I mean, man, we've been getting a lot of really good feel-goods lately.
It's true.
Am I at a 10? I don't know. I guess there is some hesitation. But Joan of Arc is a 9, and I know I'm above that.
Right.
So I know I'm in the 9.5, 9.75 category. It's not 9.25. I feel like. So I feel like I can get it right there. I feel like I can go 9.75, but that's yeah. I think that's what I'm going. It's right there. I don't know why. I'm not at a 10, but it's happening. Okay. For the
Sumai has been invoked. I'm gonna make it a 10. I'm gonna make it a 10. It is. I haven't used it yet. I'm confident my last pick I won't need to.
So might as well.
Yeah, might as well. And if I regret it, I regret it. But we only have one more episode in the season, so I don't really fucking care. It's cool. I've saved it for this moment. I've saved it for now. You know, this is why I needed it. So yeah, I'm a 10 on Singin' in the Rain. It just makes me so fucking happy. It makes me smile ear to ear, and you know, it doesn't move me to tears the way that a lot of other movies that I absolutely adore does. But it makes me smile as much as any movie I've ever watched, and I find that to be every bit as important. And it makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so happy, and I value that deeply. So I'm going 10. I'm going 10 for Singin' in the Rain.
That was the only reason I had hesitate. Like I didn't feel that like usually there's like an overwhelming cry usually for a movie that hits like that. But I feel like this one, it just replaces that with like an overwhelming sense of just joy. Just like, it just is good. It just feels good. So
what a glorious feeling.
Good morning. Yeah, this is probably be a soundtrack I'll be listening to for a little bit. It'll be in the rotation for a little bit, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But,
no, it's strong.
Okay.
Man. It's strong.
Okay, so a 10 there. Nope, can't change that. That is in
Sumai
blood.
implemented.
Yeah, it's in blood. I'll bold that to remember.
Yeah. For those who are joining us for the first time, the Sumai is absolute say. We get one per season on Cinema Surprise. And Joe used his week 1, episode 1. I'm using mine week 10. I absolutely love this movie. You get to use it in one category. You get Sumai. You get absolute say in the rating. So I invoked Sumai. I gave it a 10. That's that.
Yeah.
But now I cannot pull Sumai on critical, and I don't think I'll need to. That's rarely the place where we do that. But how are you feeling critically on a scale of 1 to 10?
Wow. I feel pretty I'm in between again. Joan of Arc and Casablanca. Joan of Arc was a 9. Casablanca a 9.75. So I know we're somewhere
9.25 or 9.5. I'm comfortable with that as well. I think the performances are super fun. I think we're closer to Casablanca as well. I mean, it is visually fucking gorgeous, dude. I mean, an unbelievable movie to look at. The dancing and the performances are also wonderful, and that's the thing, is that in a musical, you have more opportunity to be good, and you have more opportunity to be bad. And if you do a good musical, the movie's going to be fucking good. Is typically the case. You know, like it's and and I know you could say that about anything, action movies. You have every opportunity to be good, and you have every opportunity to be bad. If you do it good, it's gonna be good. If you do like, duh. But I mean, like musicals, I think there's a different level to that. Like it is the central point of a musical to be good at music, and if the music is bad, the movie is not good. And I think that. And even if the music is good and the numbers are bad, it can ruin the thing. So like that's why I love this. Is it's firing on all cylinders. Everything about the music, everything about the performers, everything about the stagecraft, it all works so well. So I'm comfortable with a 9.25 or a 9.5, and I'm cool with the 9.5 bump there.
I think 9.5. I don't know. I'm feeling it. We got a couple of those now. Cure, La Chimera, and Singing in the Rain would all be 10, 9, 7, or 10, 9, 5 pairs.
Love that. All right.
And they're all 96.66. Another 666 one in there. This one feels wrong. The first 666 did not feel like it at all.
Right.
But we'll go with the 96.7. We'll round this one off to make it.
Yeah,
make
that's
it
a
feel
97%
good. Yeah, 97
there,
yeah.
and I love that. I love
yeah.
that. I feel like that's it's a fanciful place for it to land, and I'm happy with that because it's a damn good movie, a classic. It's iconic, and I feel like it deserves the love we just gave it. So, 97% closes out this episode on Singin' in the Rain. With that, Joseph, what is your final cinema surprise for season 1?
So, you kind of know it's a 20s movie, and I think have narrowed it down between 3. And I've had one before, and it was locked in for a while. But I don't know. I'm even right now. I feel like it's not solidified because I feel like we've talked a lot of the subject matter of one of the movies. I don't know. I've seen none of them, so I don't know. But I wanted to go with one of them, and it feels like it's kind of on the nose again, with just film and everything. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I know
exactly which one that is.
I don't know if we want to stay in that vein or want to go somewhere completely different, and get another one off the list. So that's why I'm kind of hesitating right now. I don't fully know. But I think there was one other one that was just kind of a safer pick. And it was the one that I kept coming back to. I wanted to do this one because the story seemed cooler, but the other one, the movie, seemed better. And I think maybe I'll justify it that way. Maybe I will go with that one. I don't know. And it's, I guess once I say it, it's out.
That's there.
But it's my last one, so maybe, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I could say the other movies. I don't have to hide the other ones. Okay. Fuck. It's really hard. The Banshees of Inisherin. I think I'll just say it. I'm just gonna settle one down in court. I don't know. I'll have to do it. It was between Banshees of Inisherin, the Fabelmans, and Northman were the 3 movies that I was between. And Fabelmans, I don't know. It seems that it was another movie, a lot about film, and we just did Babylon and this, and I don't know. It felt like, I don't know if we're piling on too much with that. So that's why I went away from Fabelmans. But I don't know. Maybe it could have been even cooler to keep
Banshees of Inisherin, man.
The Banshees of I said it wrong. Inisherin. Okay, thank you. Inisherin. But yeah, I don't know. It's been one that at the top of my watch list for quite some time. And one to get more 2020 movies under my belt. This one, it feels right. I wanted to I don't know. I've heard a lot of good things about it. I always mess up his last name, but our new Joker and in Eternal, Barry Keoghan. Yeah, I don't know. I like him just particularly. I don't know why. He's just kind of like not like I have a deep love for him yet, but everything that he's been in so far has just been really cool.
You'll like him in this. He's very good. Colin Farrell. I love Colin Farrell.
Always
I love Carrie
him.
Condon.
So.
I love Brendan Gleeson. So yeah, no, you will not be disappointed with this pick.
Okay.
And yeah, that's a good one.
So,
that's a goodie. I'm excited to watch it. I'm excited to watch it.
It was the last one out of it was crazy. I don't know. I was going back and forth quite a lot, but yeah, I don't know. Out of those three, Fablemans, Northmen, or Banshees, I guess. Does this feel right? I don't know. Does it feel?
Yes, that feels
like
great. That feels fantastic.
Okay, that's good.
I'm very happy with that because I absolutely adore the Banshees of Inisherin, and I think that I'll be sure to come with the heartwarming.
Okay,
things.
That was also my fear. Is maybe to end on not the best
note. It's a dark one. It's a dark one, not the happiest film.
That's okay.
But
we just got Singin' in the Rain.
That's okay. It'll get sandwiched. And it's really, really strong. And let's not act like this is the last episode of Cinema Surprise ever. It's the last episode. It's your last episode of season 1. It's the penultimate. It's a very strong, very good movie. I'm extremely excited. But yeah, then come on back to Cinema Surprise next week for The Banshees of Inisherin. I'm very excited for that. Now let's do an album of the week. What do you got lined up for me today?
Just kind of a new song came across my radar. I was mowing the lawn of all things. And song just comes on, new song, and I'm mowing the lawn, and I just notice I'm crying all of a sudden. And I'm like, okay, that's a good song. That's the signs of a good song for me. And that song was Juliet by Cavetown. And 2019, pretty new, new album. The album that it comes from is Animal Kingdom, by Cavetown, and then I listened to the rest of the album, and it's really chill. I don't know, it's just really, I love every song. I didn't like as much as Juliet. Juliet's track 1. I think they put their best forward, or at the top maybe, but everything else I was not disappointed in. But kind of I just wanted to highlight track 1. I don't know, it was just very good. Instantly added it to a me playlist. There's a playlist of songs, kind of like a life-changing movie list. Kind of in the same sense, in the same vein of like songs that just were like, whoa, whenever I heard them. And Juliet was one of them, so wanted to give that the love. And the album is actually really chill and goes really well with it. So, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Cavetown, Animal Kingdom from me. So
I love that. I'm going with a 2018 album. This is where I'm going, Brockhampton's Iridescence. I absolutely love this album. It's one of those, to go with the life-changing thing. Like it was, when I was 18, wow, I spun this. I went and saw it. In concert. I saw Brockhampton live at the Midland, and they performed this album, and it was really, really cool. And I mean, I absolutely adored Brockhampton when they were still kicking it. They're unfortunately no longer a group. They've gone their separate ways. But
probably. I don't know. Is that the or what? Just beef or what? What was?
No, I think it was just the ran its course. Like there's a lot of stuff with Brockhampton that I won't get into here. But.
Okay. Yeah. I'm out of the know. It was whenever you introduced me to them, or you were like, listen to this album. I'm like, oh, cool. I'll check it out. And I'm listening.
It's a nostalgic fucking classic for me, man. This is their first album after one of their members was kicked out of the band for misconduct. Of a sexual nature, which is not good.
Okay.
But they were 100% like, you're gone, fucko, bye, which is good. Good. They could have been like, hey, don't judge our boy, he's sticking around. No, they were like, get the fuck out of here, you're done. Which, good stuff. I like that. Kevin Abstract is kind of the front man who you've almost certainly heard of. And I absolutely adore Iridescence. I think that Something About Him is always a song that I'll return to. San Marcos is devastating but beautiful, and where the cat, like, there's just so, where the cash at, just so many sounds and so many different, like, there's so many members in the band, and they all get a chance to shine, and they all get a chance to do their thing, and that results in a cornucopia of music, and it's wonderful. I absolutely love Iridescence. So cool. Animal Kingdom by Cavetown and Iridescence by Brockhampton. And with that, we will conclude this episode of Cinema Surprise. I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. And remember, peace, love, and bloom. And what a glorious feeling. I'm happy again.